Hey guys, welcome back to Cruise Blog. This is Allie, and today I will be narrating an experience from one of our writers here at Cruise Blog, Elizabeth. She went on board one of Carnival's older cruise ships and never plans to go back. Let's get into it. When I took my first Carnival cruise on Carnival Celebration, I was impressed by the modern accommodations, the variety of dining options, and an array of onboard activities. 5 months later, I found myself boarding one of Carnival's oldest ships, Carnival Elation, for a 5-night cruise out of Jacksonville, Florida. Though it was obvious the ship had been well maintained throughout the years, including an extensive dry dock in 2017, the limited number of dining choices and onboard activities left much to be desired. Everyone has different preferences when it comes to cruising. While I'm typically not a fan of smaller ships, they may be someone else's favorite. Personally, however, I don't foresee myself booking another cruise on Carnival's oldest ships, and here's why. First were the outdated bathrooms. While I was impressed with the overall condition of my interior cabin, the bathroom revealed the true age of a 26-year-old cruise ship. From the lack of storage to the stained floor and the clingy shower curtain, it was a far cry from the bathroom that I had while cruising on board Carnival Celebration. Typically, I don't worry about unpacking the products inside of my hanging toiletries organizer. However, I didn't have the choice on Carnival Elation. There simply was not enough space for all of our products in the bathroom. When Mardi Gras launched in 2021, one of the most notable features was the absence of shower curtains. Though minor, the glass shower door on Carnival Celebration was a modern touch that I sorely missed while sailing on Carnival Elation. Instead, I had to deal with a stained, clingy shower curtain. Additionally, the shower head broke on the second day of the cruise. I had never had this issue before, and it was a huge inconvenience as it broke when my cruise buddy was in the shower. Since I had yet to shower, I had to maneuver the broken handle, which ended up getting water everywhere. Another reason is having limited dining options. Overall, I didn't have any major issues with the quality of food on board Carnival Elation. Some dishes fell short compared to others that I'd have on Carnival Conquest, Vista, and Celebration. However, venues like Guy's Burger Joint and Blue Iguana remained fairly consistent. While on board, I noticed the only specialty restaurants were Chef's Table and Bonsai Sushi Express. Since there were fewer options for dinner, I witnessed lengthy wait times for the dining room. While the Imagination dining room was consistently busy, dinner service took longer than I've encountered on any other ship. There was one evening we sat for 30 minutes before having any crew member approach us. Furthermore, the selection of complimentary dining venues was noticeably smaller in comparison to newer ships. On board Carnival Elation, there was a buffet, which was home to Pizza Pirate and Carnival Deli, Guy's Burger Joint, Blue Iguana, and of course the dining room. I definitely missed two of my favorite venues on board Carnival Celebration, Chibang and Big Chicken. Another reason was that the Lido deck was constantly crowded. Sea days can be sore spots for late risers, as chair hogs tend to stake their claim early in the morning. While sailing on Carnival Celebration, I never had an issue locating an open lounge chair. There was plenty of seating staggered throughout the top deck, whether you wanted to be in the center of all the action or slightly removed. Though crowds can always be expected on a cruise, I found the Lido deck on Carnival Elation to be perhaps the worst I've ever experienced on any cruise ship. Even on the nicest days, I had to circle back to the deck like a hawk waiting for a seat to open. I did notice that crew members were trying to reduce the number of chair hogs by keeping an eye on which chairs were being actively used. However, they were only able to help so much. Additional seating would have been beneficial, as there were definitely some spaces that could have fit a few more lounge chairs. Another reason was the dated port facilities. Out of the 19 cruises that I've been on, 12 have departed from South Florida. I've also cruised out of Los Angeles, Port Canaveral, Genova, Italy, and most recently Jacksonville. As of April 2024, Carnival Elation is the only ship that sails from Jacksonville, making it one of the smallest cruise ports in Florida. Norwegian Gem will begin sailing from the port seasonally in late 2025. However, right now, Carnival Elation is the only ship. Though one of the smallest ships I've ever cruised on, the boarding process took the longest, clocking in at 40 minutes. Although the time wasn't terrible, standing in the warm terminal with no AC was miserable. Terminals like Miami and Fort Lauderdale are equipped to handle large numbers of passengers with a streamlined boarding process for the largest ships in the world. In fact, when I sailed on Carnival Celebration, it only took me 15 minutes to complete the physical check-in process and step on board the ship. If I ever were to consider sailing on a fantasy class ship again, I would choose Carnival Paradise simply because it sails out of Tampa. Another reason that I won't be sailing on board another older Carnival ship were the lack of onboard amenities. I'm a firm believer that there's the perfect cruise ship for everyone. Those who prefer a more laid-back environment will enjoy smaller ships with fewer amenities. If, however, you're like me, you'll have a better time on board with larger ships that feature the latest and greatest activities. Carnival's Excel class ships, for instance, have the only roller coasters at sea. Though it costs an extra $15, it is an experience that I look back on fondly. Even Carnival's mid-sized ships like Carnival Vista have ropes courses and other activities to keep everyone's adrenaline pumping. Onboard Carnival Elation, there was a miniature golf course as well as Waterworks Aqua Park, but these mostly appeal to the children on board. Though there were ship-sponsored activities, there wasn't much to do outside of those events. Combined with the lack of available seating during the day, I found myself excited for port days rather than relishing in all the aspects of the cruise itself. One more reason was the tendering to Half Moon Cay, as it was very chaotic, to say the least. Since I began sailing with Carnival, I've been to Half Moon Cay twice. The first was on a sailing onboard Carnival Conquest, and the second was on my 5-night Carnival Elation cruise. Tendering is never the most fun aspect of a cruise. Rather than be able to walk right off the ship and begin exploring a port of call, you have to be transported from the ship to shore via a water taxi. The night before our arrival, we were given a sheet of information stating that we weren't required to collect a tender ticket. Instead, we could head to Deck 4 whenever we were ready to get off the ship. This free-for-all ended up being rather hectic, as a delayed start and line cutters caused many passengers to get frustrated. It took us close to an hour to finally make our way ashore. I cannot imagine how long others waited, as we arrived pretty early. In comparison, when sailing on Carnival Conquest, which is a larger vessel with a maximum capacity of 4,000 guests, we were required to pick up a tender group number the morning of our arrival. They seemed to really abide by the groups too, as I saw numerous guests turned away trying to disembark the vessel before they were called. All right, everybody, those are all the reasons that I probably won't be sailing on another old ship from Carnival Cruise Line. Comment below if you've ever sailed on Carnival Elation and what your thoughts were about this 26-year-old cruise ship. Be sure to like and subscribe to Cruise Blogs so that you can be notified every time we have a new video. Until next time, everybody, happy cruising.